Welcome to Rising Goddess Radio. I'm your hostess, Michelle Torrance. I created Rising Goddess Radio to be a space where we dive deep into our spiritual, emotional, and physical bodies. We're getting real and connecting with ourselves in the most intimate ways. We'll be talking all things sacred sexual, relationship building, and womb healing. We'll be learning how to connect with our bodies through learning the language it speaks, how to use our sexual and sensual energies to create, manifest, and heal our lives. This show is about healing the chaotic feminine and toxic masculine within to create a world that responds to the divine and healthy energy you chose to tune in, tap in, and turn on. We will learn from amazing humans who take time and share their wisdom and sacred healing magic, rising humans who are here in this world to be healers, teachers, guides, priestesses, warriors, and shamans. All divine sisters and brothers in rising. We'll get witchy, sassy, sexy, and saucy. We're going to talk all things that align us with our true nature and authentic selves and create a community that expands with the ascension and growth of each of us. So grab some green juice, light some cannabis, get your blankets, or sit by the pool because we are about to rise up another level together. Catch you on the inside, dolls. Hello, my beautiful rising humans, and welcome to this next episode of Rising Goddess Radio. This episode is actually our first in our Conscious Cannabis series that we are doing. This is going to be a series on all things cannabis, how it can affect the human body physically, spiritually, emotionally, resources, myth busting, knowledge, awareness, and just conversations and experiences, and really just a full rounding of how cannabis can be an integral part of growth and awareness and the rising of your consciousness. So this first episode, we have brought back a guest, our guest Sabrina Charron. I get to practice my French every time I talk with her. But she comes back and she shares with us, she's been doing a lot of studying, she's been doing a lot of growing, her business has been expanding, and she shares with us the connections between cannabis and reprogramming and linguistical reprogramming and all of this amazing mind shift, mindset stuff, and how cannabis can be an integral part of that. So definitely hop in this and listen to it, and come into the Rising Goddess group. If you're not already a part of the group, come share your conversation with us, share your thoughts, and head on over to Michelle Torrance, the Rising Goddess on Facebook. It's facebook.com at the Rising Goddess, or excuse me, at Rising Goddess Radio. So definitely head over there, but come check up our group, come connect with us, come join the community, enjoy this episode, and I will catch you all on the next one. Hello, my beautiful rising humans, and welcome to this next episode of Rising Goddess Radio. If you are listening to this first episode of the Conscious Cannabis series, congratulations. This is an exciting series. I'm really excited for everybody out there. And our first guest, the one to kick off, to launch this amazing new series, the one, the beautiful Sabrina.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Sabrina was on season 1, and we had about a 30-minute window where we really wanted to talk, and we knew that we were going to be back talking with each other, and I didn't realize it was going to be so quick. We have both grown so much since we've talked to each other the first time, and so this episode, everybody out there, is going to be a rad episode. We are talking linguistic repatterning. We're talking cannabis use for the rising of your consciousness. We're talking cannabis use and the harmony as a mother, as a business owner, and as a spiritual being rising in awareness. So Sabrina, welcome back. I'm super excited. I'm going to ask you the first question.
Awesome.
What do you love about being a human right now in this time and space?
I honestly think I'm going to give you the same answer as last time. It's the fact that like we have social media and all of us people who are waking up can connect with each other, share ideas with each other, and just, yeah, I don't know, it rocks my world because from such a small town with like not a lot of people who have this common interest with me. So it's nice to connect with people everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And
Yeah.
everybody out there listening right now, before we get too much farther into the episode, this is, I mean, we're going to be very open and honest about all the stuff that we're going to talk about, whether it's mindset, whether it's sexuality, whether it's spirituality. So we're also going to be smoking, we're going to be talking. So we're just at the round table, at the couch, just chilling. So if you have little ones with you and you don't want them to be part of this conversation, either put in earbuds or maybe listen to this at another time. So now, moving on. Sabrina, talk to us, just share with us what has gone on in your life from the last time you were on the show. What has transpired? What have you done? What have you gotten into? And just talk away.
Okay, so when we first talked, I believe I was kind of like advocating for CBD and, you know, just trying to like help people get their hands on CBD and stuff. And that led me down the entire rabbit hole with like cannabis and spirituality and using it consciously. And I just kind of shifted in a whole other direction from that, which it was like a great intro. But now I've been reading actually Cannabis and Spirituality by Stephen Gray. I recommend this to everybody. Great book. It kind of like opened my eyes to a whole new world within cannabis, because yes, of course, it's great for healing ailments, chronic pain, things like that. But for tapping into the potential of it, like expanding your consciousness is what really excites me. So that's what I've been diving into lately and sharing about a lot. So yeah, that's what gets me going.
I love that. I love that. And what I loved before too is cannabis not only, like you said, helps with heal ailments, whether it's inflammation or whether it's any other sort of medical things. I mean, we can go into the THC benefits of it with Alzheimer's and seizures, and how the THC is the cancer killer. And there's a lot of stuff that I would love to talk about and get your opinion on, and we can dive into that throughout the episode.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. So my first question really is, when you started reading the book, which I'm really excited to get, I'm going to dive into that myself. I put it on the list for last time and I just never got it. No excuse. I just didn't do it.
It's really good. So worth it.
I'm totally going to do it. But when you started reading this book and you started really opening up your eyes to how cannabis can enhance and really help you align in your spirituality practice. How did you feel about that? Did you come up against like beliefs, like limiting beliefs, where somebody like myself, I was, raised in the, Christian religious background where it was, sinful stuff like that. So did you come up against any of that as you were starting to read the book and start to implement practices yourself?
Actually, no. Cannabis has been a part of my life since I was pretty young. Like I was kind of a little rebellious back then, but it just kind of like confirmed to me something that I kind of already knew, but I didn't have the words for. You know what I mean? That's how I always kind of connected with it, but it kind of just put words to what I was experiencing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, that makes so much sense. And because sometimes I'd get panic attacks and I smoke, which I haven't since I became aware. But that's probably because I went into it in a fear state, and it kind of amplified that and sent me into like, heart racing and like mouth dry and I don't know what to do with myself.
Yes.
But since I've been aware of that, I haven't had that experience now that I'm more kind of in tune with the nature of the plant, with the spirit of the plant. So
I love that. In tune with the spirit of the plant. My husband, he's a grower. And so he's always growing things is his natural skill. I mean, growing children, growing plants, flowers, foods, like whatever it is that he starts to grow, it just grows very well.
That's awesome.
It really is. And so by you saying the spirit, like tuning into the spirit of the plant, is really something that I think a lot of people don't put together with cannabis. I think this is something that's really, really new because they are just coming out of the reefer madness shell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially a lot of people who have been afraid to smoke, and they're realizing now that it's really not that bad, or they'll realize that a friend of theirs that they've known for 20 years has been smoking for 20 years, and there's no difference in who they see and how they see that person, right? So they're like, okay. Then the fear
might not be that bad.
Right, exactly. But what I did want to touch on, because as somebody who, I learned how to do everything with my husband. So I learned, like all the ways and what it takes to like grow a plant, and like the type of soil level and nutritions and supplements and foods and watering schedules. And what I notice is that when he puts his love and heart and soul in certain plants, the intention behind that plant, or behind that, like his intention goes into that plant. And then as we consume that plant, that intention of love and support and growth from him is then transferred into us. Because we have had experiences, and I don't know if you've experienced this or not, but we've had an experience where we've smoked some cannabis where it came from an environment where the environment itself was just toxic. And we smoked it, and we were angry, and we were tired, and we had a very terrible experience. So I'd love for you to touch on, because I want to touch back again. I want to touch on sativa and indica in a minute regarding spirituality and panic attacks and stuff like that. But I want to get your take on the energy vibrations that cannabis can take in, and how it can enhance, and whether it can enhance positive, negative, both, all of that. So I'd love your take on all that.
You're absolutely right. Like your intentions in growing the plant, like where the plant comes from, definitely matters in the quality of the cannabis, and like even in the healing effects and just the impact it has when you consume it. If it comes from like an unloving environment, like I'm up in Canada right now, we just legalized cannabis, and the government weed, it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
To say the least. So I think we're going to start growing our own. I don't have a lot of experience in that at all whatsoever, but I'm excited to kind of explore that and kind of try that out for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have read definitely, and they talk about that in that book as well.
Well, I'll throw a plug in here, which they don't pay for any advertising, or they're not.
Oh no, this is just me obsessed with
it. Well, what I'm saying though is, like, for me, what I want to plug for you though, is when you do decide to grow, check out the nutrients, the Nectar of the Gods nutrients.
Okay, I will.
Those are really high quality, natural, healthy ingredients and food for the plants, and that's what we use. And like I said, they're not a sponsor or anything, but they're things when you do decide to grow. And anybody out there, if you are looking to start growing your own cannabis, I highly recommend checking out Nectar of the Gods supplement. It's really, my husband uses the lines, and it really does make a difference on the terpene. Oh my God, the word has just completely like left me.
I think it's terpene. That's how
Thank you. I wanted to, my mouth wanted to keep saying turpentine, and I'm like, I know it's not turpentine. That's a solution.
That's
like the terpenes, right? So and then the leaf, and then the flavoring of the plant, and whether all of these things. So definitely check it out when you get curious.
Cool.
Too. So
sounds good.
But go ahead and keep going on how cannabis can really be an energy transmitter, whether...
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so let's say you have a ton of back pain and you want your cannabis to heal your back pain. Like, of course, strain matters, and the terpenes and the amount of CBD and THC and all of that, definitely. But I think what matters the most is your intention behind it. So if you want it to relax you, just be aware when you sit with it, like kind of make it a ritual. Like, I don't know, if you like stones, like have your stones out, burn some sage, just like, even just be mindful. You don't have to do anything crazy, fancy, ritualistic.
Right.
Just being there, present in the present moment with the plant and intending it for it to heal. I think that makes like a huge difference and just letting, you know, like your subconscious intentions kind of take the wheel. And that, yeah. So yeah, that's something that like I really like learning about when it comes to cannabis.
Yeah, you know, and to touch on this, we'll get into that sativa and indica aspect of it now too. If you're new to cannabis, if you're listening to this and you're not, you know, a regular smoker or user or you know, consumer of cannabis, there's many different types of cannabis, but there's basically two types of main strains. There's a sativa and there's an indica. Now the sativa is really more of your head high. That's your eyes, your brain, your head. You're like just really head heavy. The indica is the body high. And that's where you really feel like you're couch lock, or you go and you lie down in bed to watch a movie and you stay there. And so there's different levels now with many different strains, different types of plants. There's many different types of plants out there. So you can get mixtures, you can get hybrids, indica and sativa mix. So I use certain cannabises for certain parts of my life. So I use a certain kind for pain and going to bed for my insomnia. I use another, which is more of a higher indica, much higher indica, like an 80-20. And then for creativity or when I'm writing, I use more of a sativa, or I use an indica with a higher THC for writing. And so the reason why I'm throwing all of these out there to you, if this is like, what the fuck is she talking about right now? This is how intricate and beautiful and magical and creative and inspiring this plant is. And how it has multiple healing factors and abilities with it. And Sabrina and I are only talking about really the main one, which energetically, cannabis is an enhancer. And you know, Sabrina, you started doing, you went and started studying repatterning, correct? Like the linguistic repatterning and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, NLP, yeah.
Yes.
Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Yes,
so,
thank you. Talk about
that's
all
a
that.
whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's talk about that and how cannabis can play an active role in that with healing you.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it like as super simple as I can, so I don't talk for like 3 days
talk,
on this.
you got plenty of time to talk here, so
cool.
Definitely just flow with it, because if they're listening, then they are curious and they want to hear about it. So let's hear it.
All right. So I dove down the NLP rabbit hole as part of my own like personal and spiritual growth, because I'm just trying to like, you know, take control and like reprogram any like subconscious beliefs that are like holding me back and stuff like that. And I know you do a lot of that within your work too, which is amazing. So it's basically a fancy way of saying like communicating with your subconscious mind. So like neuro is obviously neurological linguistic language. So using language, and programming is to like just kind of, I don't know, take out the bad and put in the good. And like we can actually like go back and change a memory with NLP and like make it not so impactful in our lives and just kind of like more blurry so that we can move on from it and kind of heal. So it's another form of healing. And I thought it went really well with cannabis, because I think smoking some cannabis before a session like that could really expand and kind of amplify the healing powers that NLP is doing like on a different level.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, it makes complete sense. And what I love so much about it, and talking about it, is like this NLP, it's it's like using it. It's more of this logical side, right? This conscious awareness, logical side.
Yes.
And understanding that you can utilize cannabis as a form of enhancing a logical practice in your world. And by you talking about like using different language and kind of removing a particular program, in my world, I call that an energetic cord release.
Yeah, you know? But it's basically
like shift. it's the same thing.
It's just like it's all connected to me, like the spirituality and NLP, like quantum physics. It's all the same thing in my world. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything I learned about, I'm like, that goes with that, and it's all like making connections in my head, and I'm like, ooh, this is fun.
That's what I mean. That we can talk about sacred geometry at that. Once you start collecting and connecting all the dots and everything, and then of course you've got all, like, your Stonehenge and your pyramids, and then you collect all the ley lines of the earth, and then we'll talk all sorts of shit like that.
Oh yeah, and all the energies and just yes. I know. It's crazy. And it all just goes together. That's why it's so fascinating to me. And it's hard for me to pick like one thing to dive into.
And our brain.
So this is what I'm into right now.
Yeah, I know. You guys, everyone, you guys can't even, you're in the groups. I record our sessions when we're recording for the podcast, y'all. I record videos. So me and Sabrina are like, we're talking and we're like looking at each other and like,
hands going.
We're like geeking out over all of this. So if you see this, like, we're like, it's great. We're really geeking out over it, but it's really exciting because we are in a time right now where I feel like we finally have gotten rid of the reefer madness era. And now we're into the
kind of rediscovering it.
I love words. What a great word. Rediscovering curiosity.
Yes.
Oh man, we are in flow tonight. So
definitely.
So let's talk about a personal experience. Maybe you can share with us, like maybe an example of what you might do for an NLP practice session for yourself, and like a ritual, how you go about setting up and preparing for that, and how the cannabis has helped you maybe with a particular experience kind of shift and reprogram yourself, and just kind of maybe give us an experience of that so somebody can kind of walk through and be like, oh, okay, like that doesn't sound so scary. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Something super simple. So, there's actually some just like very simple questions that you can ask yourself, to just kind of, sorry, I just gotta like gather my thoughts.
No, that's totally okay.
There's so much. That's why it's like,
I know we're all excited, you guys. I know, like we could literally have like this conversation for 3 days. So we're really wanting to make sure that we find the best option for you. So
the best way to, exactly.
We're chilling. We're girlfriends. This is what we're doing.
So let's say we're working on limiting beliefs. There's actually like a questionnaire that you could work through. Mm-hmm. So if I was doing a session with someone, or if like you're in my Facebook group by chance, there's actually a unit in there with just questions you could sit down and fill out. And it just helps you look at your problem or your limiting beliefs or whatever you want to call them, whatever your block is. It can help you like look at it from a completely different perspective just by asking yourself different questions. So what I like to do is sit down. Questions. Yes, exactly. And I'll usually smoke a sativa. That's more my creative flow kind of. Right. I love this strain called Happy Feet from Peace Naturals dispensary. That's like my favorite, and it's like exclusive to them. So
that's fantastic. I love that. We'll have to share some strains for people out there who are a bit more knowledgeable and have a bit more experience with cannabis on what.
Yeah, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Between the two of us, we've got like about 40 years experience of cannabis use. So we're
that's funny.
I know, right? Isn't that great? It's exciting, really. It's the wisdom that we've learned from all the different experiences and the stuff. So anyway, keep going. We're just rambling.
Yeah. So usually I'll smoke a sativa because the head high, it gets my brain going, and it just like creative flow. So I'll work through those questions and kind of just like look at my problems in a whole new way. So like, for example, let's say you want to lose weight, but you like have a block that you don't have time to work out or something. So it'll just be like, well, what if you made time to work out? And then it's like, oh, okay, well then I would, have time to like exercise, and like 6 months from now, it will like add up to like significant change. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, helping you see your problems in a whole new way. It's hard to just explain in simple terms because there's so many modalities and stuff.
So let's break this down, maybe get a little bit more complicated out there. So everybody out there, maybe grab up some notes if you're really curious about this, or save this to listen to it another time too. But when you're smoking a sativa to get into a creative flow, your imagination is opened. And as adults, first of all, when we're young kids, I actually was talking with somebody about this today. When we're young kids, our imagination is so free, so open, so wild. And we just let it run. And we're told all the time as we continue to grow up, stop with that imagination. That's just your imagination. Stop, that's not real. Get serious, stop playing around, stop fantasizing, all of these things. And when we stop fantasizing that, right, when we stop imagining, then we close and go to sleep the aspect of ourselves that is here to create. And what the sativa does is, when you can smoke a really nice sativa, depending on what feels right for you. Again, there's so many different strains and levels and percentages, and I mean, so much. It's nothing to be overwhelmed with, but it's a fun way.
You just gotta find what works for you personally.
Go explore.
Right.
Go
have fun with it.
Exactly. Have fun with it. Exactly. But when you smoke that sativa, what happens is the sativa goes up, it's more into your brain hive. So it attacks more, it doesn't attack, it connects to the, to neurological sensors in your brain, where it actually opens up a part of your brain that allows more imagination, allows more creativity. And because you are utilizing it in more of a ritual experience for a healing experience, the vibration and the energy of you opening up that imagination is not so scary. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes absolutely perfect sense. Yes. And through learning NLP too, using your imagination is super important for it to work, because you have to be playful with it. You got to have fun, and it's got to get to you in your inner child. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah. So sativa helps you do that. So that's how to me, it connects perfectly together.
Yeah. I love that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think what's also so great too is that we can veer now into more of really a sexuality part of it, because we are on Rising Goddess Radio. So there's obviously going to be a sexuality element about it. Let me ask you, let's get a little bit personal.
Sure.
I know you have a fiance, and you have two littles, and having a healthy sexual relationship with a partner is extremely important. So how do you utilize cannabis in your sexuality, in your sexual practice with yourself, with your husband? Do you have ritual or practices that you utilize cannabis with your sexuality and stuff like that? So share with us, how do you utilize that?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. That's something I put a heck of a lot of thought into. I do usually I should have, obviously. So I usually smoke before we go down to bed, and usually fool around. Actually, this afternoon we had a little quickie. One kid was napping, the other kid was watching a movie, so we ran downstairs.
Yay!
I know, right? Yeah.
Congratulations on the little. You have just enough time.
Yes, seriously, we saw a window. We're like, hey, you wanna,
Yeah, way to grab that.
Oh yeah. So we haven't we've always been connected in that way, but we've also always been connected over cannabis. So I guess it's just something that comes naturally to us that we don't put too much thought into. I'm curious to know more about it though, if you want to share a little bit on that with me. Yeah,
absolutely.
I want to learn for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I think a great way is really finding a strain, first of all, too, that you can use that really helps. So a strain that works for us, that is a really good mood enhancer. What's the word I'm looking for? You eat oysters because they are aphrodisiacs.
Aphrodisiac.
Thank you.
That's funny. No problem. Same time we got it, I think.
Right. But some strains out there. There are some strains that are made specifically to help women really relax and tie into their sexuality. It really helps mood enhance. It's a libido enhancer for both women and men. Like Sunset Sherbert is a great one for that. Valley Girl is another one. But when you find these strains where they really can enhance, because they're really more of a I find them to be a balance 50-50 indica sativa, but with the higher THC.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So we're talking roughly probably in like the mid to upper 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe some of the homegrown is maybe low 30s. We don't know yet. We still need to test, but so it's pretty up there. So, I mean, if you're new to smoking, I would start off on a lower percentage and then work your way up. But really utilizing cannabis as part of ritual experience. So you can smoke and get into the energy with your partner or yourself, right? So if you're with your partner, you're smoking, you're flirting, you're connecting, you're talking, you both are kind of, if you both are aware and a conscious couple, then the conversation will be a turn on in itself when you're smoking. And so when you are smoking and talking and having conversation and flirting, you're getting into the vibration, you're tapping into your sacral chakra, right? So this is where I usually put on, I wear Citrus Bliss a lot. I smell like an orange creamsicle. So that's
awesome.
Never wanted to know what I smell like. I smell like an orange creamsicle. I wear that all the time, right? So, but it's for your sacral. It's an orange. It's bright. It's enhancing. It helps with your sacral chakra. So, so by adding those scents, having some crystals or candles that are lit for the specific chakras, you can create a container that will allow some flow. And so we can get to a point where we are feeling a nice high. We're in a good flow. We're not where, we're smoking a particular kind that's not going to make us couch lock or make us tired or anything like that. But what it does is by us doing it together and having the intention, right? We have
the intention's important.
To connect on a higher level energetically with our sex. And so we will have more of an intense energetic experience. And so like there will be a lot of heightened energy. There could be really, you start to feel a lot of, if you do Kundalini yoga out there, you start to feel a lot of that. If you can't, you're not watching me. I always like make movements when I'm talking. But like the zing up and down, if I could describe it out there, it's a zing up and down your chakras. And you feel that energy enhanced. And so you both are able to have a really heightened orgasmic experience. And then if you go in there with the intention of manifesting or utilizing the connection with your partner as a healing experience, then the cannabis use enhances that. So not only are you getting the healing from the sexual energy and the orgasmic energy to heal or manifest, but the cannabis is enhancing that intention and the vibration of that energy. So
that's fascinating. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Isn't it great?
To dive into.
Yeah. So this is something that, and then, and that's with your partner. Now, whether with yourself, you can create a ritual with yourself. And again, what, you talk about, what you teach, the main thing with cannabis is the intention.
Yes, for sure.
And when you align that and you utilize a specific cannabis that can really enhance the creative and imaginative part of you, which helps to reduce or remove inhibitions, then you can start to do self-practice utilizing cannabis with the intention of sexual healing, because that's really, utilizing it for manifestation too, but we really start, I think, this is what I do with my clients, is when you really start in the beginning is utilizing masturbation for sexual healing instead of manifestation at first.
I think that makes total sense to like release any blockages that's preventing what you're trying to manifest to come, right? So why not start from the ground up? Yeah, I love that. Love it. Yeah, NLP too is basically like getting to the root of the problem and getting rid of the problem. And it's usually more of like a self-worth kind of value
always
thing.
Down to self-worth and value.
It always comes down to that. Yeah.
Yep.
And getting to the root of the problem is super important. So that's cool how we're both like doing the same thing, but in totally different arenas,
Yes. Isn't it fantastic? And that's what's so great about this world. And this is also a great opportunity to bring up like comparison and stuff like that, because, we are both doing it. There's so many women out in the world who are wanting to awaken other people up through
We're like,
their
hello,
gifts.
come on.
Yes, exactly. And
like, look at this.
yeah, right. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. Get curious.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
like as humans, we are miraculous beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vaynerchuk always says 1 in 4 trillion that you are a human right now in this space. You see what I'm saying? And so 1 in 4 trillion odds that you came as a human. And today is we're recording this December 18th, 2018. This is the only December 18th, 2018 that we will ever experience.
Yeah, that's intense.
What are you going to do with it?
Yeah,
Right?
take advantage.
Yes.
Learn something. Learn something.
Yes.
Strive for more, like just get out there and
Yeah. And cannabis.
Cool.
Yeah, and cannabis is a plant that can consciously connect you to your higher self and
the earth
and
simultaneously.
Thank you. Yes.
It's
so
beautiful.
let's incorporate. It's so funny. What I love about this episode, and I think what I really love about the Conscious Cannabis series for the show, is that it's really going to tie in all of the other series that we have going on too. Because I wanted to talk about, oh my God, it just left. I started thinking. Y'all know what happens when I start thinking.
Same here. I get all stumbled up.
You just got to let it flow. Let yourself go. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead then and just move on into cannabis use as a mother. Let's talk about this. This is something I know you're very passionate about. We talked about this on the last show that you were on. I'm very passionate about it too. So let's talk about it. I think there's so much more, even since the last time we talked, there's so much more acceptance of cannabis moms, especially with like Pink Sesh out there on Instagram and Mama Saline and Ganja Goddesses. And these are all, if I follow all of these people on Instagram. So if y'all want to.
Mother's Mary is very good too.
Okay. Mother's Mary. Okay. So,
yeah, they're Canadian, but they're getting on the news and everything. They're going for it and just advocating for mothers. So it's awesome.
It's so fantastic. And I think it's critical for mothers out there, especially if you're out there and if you've been curious to try cannabis, but you've been afraid to try it, but you've been afraid to try because you've just been feeling shame or guilty just for even being curious about it. Because that's what some conditioning that has been placed in many of us. Let's talk about your thoughts, your passions, and your goals for, moms and cannabis.
Okay. So I love other moms who are into cannabis because I think a lot of us are just using it to heal ourselves without going to like pharmaceutical drugs that have a lot of negative side effects and stuff like that. So we're all just choosing something that's more natural, more healthy for our bodies. That's, it's not like pumping ourselves full of chemicals to heal. And I think that's important. And I also, even if it's just recreational use, just to relax at the end of the day, like having a glass of wine is fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, having just like not an escape. I don't want to say an escape, but something just to like make the mundane a little better.
Yeah. And well, I think let's just touch on this. Let's just be real. We're human. You know what I'm saying? We're human. And sometimes we want to drink. Sometimes I want a shot of Di Serono or a nice glass of I
haven't had Di Serono in a long time.
Right? It's good, right?
Yes.
So, sometimes I want a hard cider or 3. You know what I'm saying?
Me, I'm a sucker for Corona and lime.
Yeah,
like that's the best thing. Because it feels good, and then there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good.
Exactly. Thank you. Because it feels good, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good. However, let's throw this in there. If you are wanting to feel good only because you're trying to run away from a truth that you must face to feel authentically good, then bypassing is not what we support. with cannabis use.
No. Conscious use.
Conscious use. So there's times where you will consciously say, you know what, I don't want to smoke right now. And that's okay too.
Yes.
And I think that that's important too for many smokers out there. I think sometimes for people who have smoked for a while, there can be this like
attachment
to it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced that with my significant other. Actually, he's kind of wedded to it, I would say, but that's him. It's his choice. You know what I mean? But a lot of people just kind of, they can't live without it after a while. But I think it's important to, like, you know, take breaks every once in a while and just keep sober and come back.
Well, and I think what's important is that it's becoming aware, and it's becoming aware of why you're using it. If you are realizing that you were constantly using it, this is a great topic that we're touching on, because as someone who comes from addiction, you know, addiction has been in my blood from the age of 5, starting with food and then, you know, drugs. And I'm really thankful I never really got heavy into alcohol. I just never really enjoyed the hangover feeling. So that was
my vice for a long time too, alcohol.
I mean, in high school, I carried around the gallon bottle of Jack around the pool. I was that girl, but
same here.
Yeah, right.
Long time ago. Kids straighten me out for sure.
Well, you know, I think it was all part of the experience of who we are now.
I don't regret it at all. It was fun at the time.
Yeah, I mean, kind of fun for me.
For the most part. Yeah. Kind of depressing too. But.
I was running away and bypassing quite a bit. But
same here.
But I think what's really important, again, is just to remember that anything can be used for addiction. Anything can be a vice. It could be kale, it could be soda, it could be cannabis, it could be crack, it could be anything. Coffee, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cleaning. Anything can be used as a vice, and you can get addicted to it. Working out, I mean, anything can be used as that. So understand that if maybe you've been somebody who has been judgmental of cannabis use, and you know, anybody who smokes cannabis in your thought process or paradigm that you've been living in, anybody who smokes cannabis is addicted or a hippie or you know, lazy or whatever. This might be an opportunity for you to kind of, I started thinking again, to kind of just, do you know where I'm going with this, Brina?
Kind of.
this is where we're like,
I'm thinking now too. Okay, so you were like talking about how I lost it.
Oh, addiction. Anything can be.
Anything can be.
Right. So if you've been curious, if you've been judgmental about it, thank you. So if you've been judgmental about it, thinking that if you start smoking cannabis, that you will get addicted to something, addicted to drugs or something like that. Let's first, I implore you to get curious and really start to research and define drug for you. That's
there you go.
Yeah. And then from there, start to understand, you eat kale, right? Kale comes from the earth, right? Potatoes, carrots. We eat weeds when we're eating dandelion greens. And fun fact, you know, cannabis leaves are a superfood. They're high in vitamin A, high in vitamin D, and folic acid, I think, or it's either folic acid or potassium. I feel like I know those are way too far off things, but it's a P of something. So, but what I'm saying is that addiction isn't because of the item that's being used. Addiction is because of the fear that you're running from, and you don't want to face the reality of your shadow. So this is an opportunity for you to maybe get curious and realize that cannabis can actually be a tool to help with the anxiety or the apprehension of doing the shadow work.
Yes, I use cannabis a lot when I'm diving like deeper into things for sure, and it helps me. Oh no, my battery's gonna die soon. We got 20%. We should be okay.
Okay,
Don't
we'll
have
be
my
good
cord down here, but
we'll
yeah,
be good.
we
This
should
is
be
a
okay.
great episode.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. It's a great conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really, what it is. And I think I just wanted to stop out there because I know that there's just a range of people, and most of the people who are avid listeners of the show, most of them smoke, or they've, smoke every now and then, or it doesn't really matter. But if you're
they're like at least open-minded to the
right,
idea, right?
Right. Like if, because, I'll let people know, like, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. If, I need to know, are you going to be okay with this? Should I just adjust, because I honor and respect other people as well. I mean,
yes,
it's understanding that not everybody does it. And just like religious or politics or whatever.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah,
like, do you, Bill?
That's all good. Yeah, exactly. That's my attitude too. If you don't like it, okay, that's fine.
That's you don't have to. It's okay, because not everybody will, and that's all right. But if you are curious, if it is something that you do and you've wanted to tap into a spirituality side of it, or how you can utilize it. I mean, if you utilize ashwagandha and all of these other herbs and everything like that, to help with healing aspects of it, and teas and body alignment and detoxing and keeping your body with superfoods, then this is not anything different, except this particular superfood, this particular herb, this particular plant that helps this particular human body. It helps the energy and the mindset and the spirit aspect of it as well.
Yes, and you can kind of direct it where you want it to go to
based off your intentions. Yeah, man.
I love the way you put that.
Thank you. I love it. I mean, we could just talk about cannabis all day because, it's really just, and it's exciting to see so many more people, especially people who have been afraid, and then they got curious and they started and they realized, oh, this is it. And then they realized how it really is something that helps. I mean, especially with our children, and with epilepsy and, cancer and all that stuff. So let's kind of twist into that a little bit. Autism. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Let's see, because I know that, there's a lot of moms out there who are really wanting to really be able to help their children find a healthy, balanced alignment, and then also be able to stay aligned to help their children. So talk to us about that. How cannabis, autism, family, all of that.
All of that. Okay. So I have a 4-year-old. He's on the spectrum. He's severe. He's nonverbal. He doesn't talk. He actually just started school this September, and he's been improving quite a bit thanks to that as well. But we have him on CBD oil and also a gluten-free diet, which I think does contribute too. So that's something to look into if you have someone on the spectrum. Anyway, so CBD helps to, keep him in balance. He's a happier kid. He listens better. He's calmer. And when he doesn't take it, you could definitely tell the difference. So I highly recommend at least like looking into it, doing some research. And even for some kids, THC can be good as well. Just be careful of laws and stuff like that. You just want to like make sure you're following proper laws and just covering your butt, because it is kind of scary, especially when it comes to your kids and cannabis. So you just got to kind of be aware of the laws and try and go
within the laws of what they can offer and stuff like that.
Of what you can get, But I highly recommend looking into it if it is an option that is available to you where you are in the world. So.
And let's talk about THC. THC is obviously the high, the mental high.
The psychoactive part.
Thank you. And the CBD is your body. So that's where you can see how THC and sativa are aligned and CBD and indica are aligned, right? So your indicas are pretty much filled with CBD, but depending on how you grow and crossbreed plants and all of the, gestations and all of that.
Oh, yes.
You can create hybrids and all this other stuff, right? So, and let me also too, for those of you who, when we talk about THC with your children, we're not talking about like smoking or edibles or anything. These are like specific oils that are created that are in a dense, concentrated form that go into a capsule that are measured out specifically.
And you just put like a tiny drop.
Yeah. And what it does, and the reason why the THC oil, which is why the government is really so adamant about not putting it, like not legalizing it. Did we freeze again?
No, I think we're okay.
Okay, good. I'll edit that out again because it looked like I was frozen there for a second. Okay. But the reason why, the government is really so adamant about not making it legal is because the THC is what is helping cure cancer, also helping with brain function and reattaching brain connections with each other. So not only is the THC helping with epilepsy and brain healing, but that's where it's also helping with Alzheimer's.
Yes.
So it's really important when you do start to get curious about cannabis, really research it, and not go to like the government sites. I'm talking like go to growers, go to the people who are really advocating for it. Go to, Mother Mary, you know what I'm saying? And go to Leafly. And
Leafly's really good resource.
Yeah. Leafly's a great resource to really research different strains, the percentages, what they do, what they smell like, what they taste like, all of these things. So, Sabrina, this has been, we could go on and on and on and on. And I can't wait until really everybody out there, I'm working on a Rising Goddess retreat. So this is just a little drop to the universe, and the magic begins on that. But we're going to let Brina go, and we're going to close this episode, but we're going to ask a couple fun questions at the end here in just a few minutes. But before we ask our fun questions, where can people find you? What passion project are you working on right now? And where can people find you?
Awesome. Okay. So you can find me through my website. Pretty much everything else is on there. So you can find my Facebook group, Instagram, all that on cannabisinfusedmotherhood.com. On Facebook, I have the Cannabis Infused Community. And I also have Instagram. So Cannabis Infused Motherhood. Cannabis Infused Motherhood across the board. So yeah, find me coming out in my group. We have a lot of fun, talk about all this deep, crazy stuff all the time.
I love it. It's a great group, and it's a bunch of great women in there, and it's fantastic. Yeah. What passion project are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm working on launching NLP coaching, like cannabis-infused NLP coaching. So January 1st, I'm offering 3 sessions for $60 just because I'm still practicing getting started. So it's kind of an introductory price starting in the new year. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, you can find that on my website too.
How exciting.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
Yes, definitely reach out. Go check out her stuff. Go make sure you follow her on social media. If you are an activist, definitely reach out to her. She can really provide some great, resources and support and education to help understand how cannabis can be used as well. So, Sabrina is the bomb.com.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you. Hair flip.
Yeah.
So let's ask a couple questions. What was the last thing you Googled?
I'm actually looking because I knew you were going to ask me. What was it? I was looking at winter solstice traditions. I Googled winter solstice traditions because I'm going to start doing that. It's kind of new to me because I grew up just celebrating Christmas this time of year. So I'm excited to dive into that. So
yes,
that's the last thing I Googled to get some ideas.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be all sorts of fun stuff on the witchy shit series.
Yeah. So. Awesome. I'm excited to learn that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What book are you reading besides Cannabis Spirituality? Are you reading anything besides that?
Right now, Biology of Belief by, oh my God, what's his name? Biology of Belief. He's a cellular biologist anyways, and he talks about
Is it Joe Dispenza?
Talking about. No, I can't think of him right now. Hold on,
okay.
I'll Google him.
That'll be the last thing that she Googled.
Yeah, last thing that I Googled. What is his name? Bruce Lipton. I love Bruce Lipton.
Okay.
Yes, he's awesome. He's got lots on YouTube too.
So what was it called again?
Biology of Belief. So it talks about how our thoughts like contribute to the health of our body, basically.
Oh, I love that. That's like Louise Hay's body.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for that. I'm gonna geek out on that.
Really good. All into the quantum physics kind of aspect of it.
What is your favorite food right now that you want to eat like all the time?
Avocados. I eat them like just right out of the skin with a little bit of salt all the time. Guilty pleasure.
Oh my God, that sounds
so
amazing.
Good.
Avocado toast sounds great.
Oh yeah.
My gosh, I have a hard time.
I can't get enough. I have to go pick up some more because I'm out.
Well, it's such a great healthy fat.
You just reminded me. Oh, it's good.
Oh, it's super good.
My kids love them too, so we always snack it on avocados.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And one final question: what song or piece of music, embodies your being right now?
Right now, Budding Trees by NACO and Medicine for the People. They are amazing.
You know what? I had Summer Gardner. I had Summer on the show and she told me about them as well.
NACO. I'm obsessed. Make It Change, but I buy them too. Make It Change. Oh, that song gives me goosebumps everything.
Okay, so
yeah,
I'm just gonna have to
they're like contributing to my transformation. These people, they're beautiful.
Okay, well then everybody get out there and start listening to them and seeing what you align with them. And Sabrina, thank you so much for coming on the show again and being the first
thanks for having
episode.
me again.
Yes. And everybody out there, make sure you follow her. And if you have any questions about anything, make sure you head over to Facebook, Michelle Torrance, The Rising Goddess, and it's at Rising Goddess Radio on Facebook if you do that. And then if you're not in Rising Goddess group on Facebook, hello, come join us.
Oh, you got to get in there. She's awesome. Michelle's awesome.
Oh my God, it's a great group. It's only awesome.
It is.
We're having a great time together. So definitely come and join in, and let's go ahead and keep on rising. So I will catch y'all on the next episode. Later.